This is Michael Kent, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Kent Magic Workshop. And I do believe this will be the final episode of the Abbott's champagne bouquet. Say that fast 5 times real quick. But anyway, this is it here. First of all, we're going to finish grooming the feather flowers with the curling iron, and they're going to deal with this here. But let's get to the flowers, get those groomed, and then we'll come back to the bottle and get it finished. Enjoy the grooming. Okay, now that I've finished with this, I'm going to get started. I'm going to lay this to the side, let it rest. Pop this up here. I think this is going to be a 6-parter, maybe 7-parter, because I want you to see a lot of what I'm doing here. This one's got a lot of ribs in it, so let's... Remember, if you put this curling iron at the very bottom of the feather, you hold it there, it's going to rotate your feather back, which means what? It's going to lay flatter, okay? If you do it the opposite way, they're going to not fold flat. So let me go ahead and take this one down. And always when I'm pulling this off, I always make sure that I'm not letting it clamp down completely, because it will break these tips off. Because remember, this is an older bush. This has been around for a couple of years. Now this feather here is laying too flat. I'm going to make sure, whoops, that I curl it down. There you go. See how you get that little curl in there? Just lay that heating iron right there. Pushes that down. Now this feather is missing a bunch of the things. So what you can do on that, I do what I call dressing. You grab the feather, pull it from side to side, you can get your feathers to lay down. You end up with 4 or 5 feathers stacked on top of each other. You can spread them out a little bit. There you go. And remember, there's nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. Remember, it's going to have some of that done to it. So, and what I will do is I will go over these and groom them all. Then I will probably come back and re-groom them. Because remember, these ribs have been in these flowers for how many years, you know? So as I do these, I will go from one flower to the next. Okay? I'll do this one next, which I believe this one was the first one I believe I did, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, I've got more than one feather in there. But remember, these have already been done once. I'm going to pull these off to the side. You see the angle I'm putting those at? See how it kind of pulled that down a little bit? Most of your wear and tear is going to be on these feathers here. You notice how this one here, how the wear and tear is up on this one? That's because when when your tube goes over, these feathers on top are going to get the most wear and tear. So, okay, there's that one. these down here. Sometimes it's hard to grab one feather because you've got all the foliage in the back. Just do the best you can. Remember, these feathers are all layered, so you need to kind of fight to find out which one's on top, which one's on bottom. Every time you pull your heating iron, curling iron across these, it removes some of the heat. So sometimes it takes several passes and you gotta wait. So yes, I will probably edit a lot of this stuff out. So I'll do one, then I'll come back and say it's done. I think it's important for you to kind of watch a little bit of this to see the different techniques I get to lay them down flat. It's called feather manipulation. I'm going to hold that there. It's got a lot of ribs in it. That took more of them out. Like I said, when I worked on Dick Berry's blackstone bushes, remember, blooming bushes are pulled down to a tube about, I think it's about 3/4 of an inch round, and when you leave them in there for 50 years in the hot, man, it took me 2 or 3 weeks of steaming, curling iron, blow drying, and I had to do them over and over and over, and eventually I got them looking pretty nice. That one looks pretty nice. It's still got some ribs in it, but that's okay. I'll come back to it. He said it's good to let your curling iron rest. And well, let's see what we got here. As you work with these on stage, if someone looks at the blossom, say, "Oh, there's one that wasn't looking right," they're looking in the wrong space. When they see this, they're not going to see this imperfection or this imperfection over here. They're going to see the whole thing. So you have to remember that. Okay, we've done that one, that one, that one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get this one down here. I'm going to push this one down and pull this one up to get to it. And ideally, if you can start with the bottom feathers first, that always works nice too. Well, you know what? I do believe we got her done. And now we're back with beautifully groomed feather flowers done with the curling iron. Another issue that we have to deal with is on the inside of this bottle, there's a tube on the inside. I don't know if you can see it because of the lighting. Let me see if I can hold this. Do you see that tube inside there? And the top of the bottle seats down inside of it. And the problem is it's loose because it's being held on with the rivet. Listen. You hear it rattle in there? There should not be any sound in there. So what I've got to do, we're going to drill this out, replace this rivet, and I will probably run some tape on the inside of that tube. So let's get to it. Now one thing I want to do is take and run some tape on the inside of this, because you can see there, it looks pretty good right there. We'll take and fold the edge over. So now, when this here goes inside of this, it will protect it. And that basically centers it inside the bottle. So I'm going to take this here and place it inside of here. So now the trick is to get this rivet, get this here pop rivet to line up with the hole in that tube. And let's see how good I can do this. However, I have no sound, so I'm really not worried about it. It's done. Done is good. Now let's load this puppy up and take a look at it. Here's my firing mechanism. It's going to go to the back here. So this will flip around this way. There's the back of the mechanism, the back of the bottle. And like Flynn, all I have to do is load that cork, and it's ready to go. I still do have to paint the bottle. That's what the new label will look like. So anyway, I'm going to say this is done until I get it painted. So we'll come back once it gets painted. But for right now, the Abbott's / Foster champagne bouquet is done to this point. And when I get it completely finished, I will actually put it into my show, and I'll make sure that video will go on YouTube. So be watching for the performance of the Abbott's champagne bouquet. This is Michael Kent saying thanks for tuning in, and be watching for more of Kent Magic Workshop. I believe number 7 will be linking rings, so be watching for it. We got some great stuff for linking ring enthusiasts. Okay, remember, till next time, whatever.